We have maps of Mars, high-definition photos of Pluto, and we've even peered into the birth of distant galaxies using our most advanced space telescopes. But right now, just a few miles beneath your feet lies a world more alien than anything found in the stars. Ever since I was a child, I've been fascinated by the ocean. Not just the waves, but the secrets that lie beneath them. While everyone else was looking up at the sky, I was haunted by the mysteries of the deep. I used to wonder, what is happening in the places where sunlight simply cannot reach? It is a staggering reality that 95% of our ocean remains a complete blackout, a silent, crushing void that we have barely touched. But what if tomorrow the lights went on? What if the 95% suddenly became 0% and every secret was laid bare? From the unsettling reality of what's actually making those unexplained sounds like the bloop, to the chilling discoveries waiting at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, we are counting down the 10 stages of the Great Oceanic Reveal. And you will want to stay with us until we reach the final point, because the biological and historical secrets hidden in the trenches for eons might just redefine our entire understanding of life on Earth. Let's dive in. Number 10. The architecture of the abyss. Imagine the lights hitting the mid-ocean ridge for the first time in human history. Currently, we only see this through sonar and tiny camera windows, but a full reveal would show us a mountain range 4 times longer than the Andes, with canyons deep enough to swallow Mount Everest twice over. At this stage, we realize that our geography books have been obsolete for centuries. We aren't just mapping cold rocks, we are discovering a second surface of Earth that is more rugged, more vast, and more terrifying than all the continents combined. Imagine seeing giant waterfalls of salt water falling under the sea, underwater rivers with their own currents and shorelines. There are places in the Gulf of Mexico where brine pools create underwater lakes so toxic that anything that swims into them dies instantly, preserved in a salty grave. If we saw the whole ocean floor, we would realize that Earth is not a planet of dirt and trees, but a planet of jagged, submerged peaks and endless dark valleys. Number 9. The biological neon city. Imagine we saw the twilight zone clearly without the interference of our own artificial lights. At number 9, we stop seeing rare sightings and start seeing the truth. The deep sea is the largest city on Earth. Billions of bioluminescent organisms flickering in a synchronized, haunting dance that stretches for thousands of miles. With the lights on, the food chain is finally revealed in high definition. Imagine seeing a 50-foot giant squid, not as a myth from an ancient sailor's tale, but as a common, elegant predator of the deep. We would see the siphonophores, creatures that look like glowing underwater snakes, reaching lengths of over 150 feet, longer than a blue whale. What does it tell us about the limits of biology when animals grow to such incredible scales just to survive the pressure? We would realize that the monsters we feared are actually the most successful residents of our planet. Number 8. The unsinkable archive. Imagine if every ship that ever vanished was suddenly visible. It's estimated that there are over 3 million shipwrecks on the ocean floor. If we knew everything, we wouldn't just find wood and gold, we'd find history frozen in time. Because the deep ocean is cold, dark, and often lacks oxygen, it acts as the perfect natural time capsule. Imagine finding ancient Greek triremes or Phoenician trading vessels with their cargo of wine and oil still intact after 3,000 years. Take the San Jose Galleon, for example, a ship carrying $17 billion in gold and jewels lost for 3 centuries. Or the HMS Endurance, recently found in the Antarctic, looking as if the crew had just stepped off the deck. We wouldn't need to guess how ancient empires lived or how they traded. We would see their manifestos, their tools, and their personal belongings preserved in the silt. The ocean floor isn't just mud. It's a library of human ambition where every page is a sunken deck and every hull is a chapter of our past that we thought was lost forever. Number 7. The map of human migration. At number 7, we find the keys to our own origin. Imagine a world where we can see the land bridges that existed 20,000 years ago. During the last ice age, sea levels were 400 feet lower than they are today. Vast regions like Doggerland, which once connected Britain to mainland Europe, are now hidden beneath the North Sea. If we knew everything, we would find the remains of campsites, stone tools, and burial grounds of the first humans who migrated across the planet. This isn't just archaeology, it's the missing chapter of the human story. We would see the submerged cities of the Mediterranean and the lost civilizations of the Persian Gulf. We would finally understand how we populated the Earth, not by guessing through fragmented DNA, but by walking through the streets of cities that were drowned before history was even written. We would realize that our ancestors weren't just land dwellers, they were masters of a changing coastline that we've only just begun to map. Number 6. The alchemy of the vents. Coming in at number 6, imagine a place where the water is hot enough to melt lead, yet life doesn't just survive, it thrives. These are the hydrothermal vents, volcanic chimneys on the seafloor. What if these vents hold the keys to modern medicine? The microbes found here have evolved unique ways to repair their own DNA under extreme heat and chemical stress. By knowing everything about their genetic makeup, we could potentially unlock new secrets of cellular regeneration and longevity for humans. We are talking about enzymes that could revolutionize how we treat terminal diseases. The ocean at this stage ceases to be a void and becomes Earth's most resilient and advanced biological laboratory. We would see yeti crabs and tube worms that live off pure chemicals, proving that life doesn't need the sun to exist. This discovery would change our search for life on other planets like Jupiter's moon Europa forever. Number 5. The Bloop solved. At number 5, we finally address the sound that has haunted oceanographers for decades, the bloop. In 1997, a sound so powerful it was recorded 3,000 miles apart shook the Pacific. While science currently points to massive ice quakes in Antarctica, what if a total reveal shows us a biological scale we've completely missed? Imagine finding organisms so massive, so ancient, that their very movements resonate through the crust of the planet. Here, we explore the possibility of Abyssal Gigantism, the scientific phenomenon where deep-sea creatures grow much larger than their shallow water cousins. But at this scale, we are talking about biological anomalies that push the absolute boundaries of what we thought was physically possible. Are there creatures down there that have lived for centuries, growing slowly in the cold until they reached the size of islands? If the lights went on, we might find that the noises of the ocean are actually the breathing of a world we are too small to understand. Number 4. The Extinction Vault. At number 4, imagine finding Lazarus species. Animals that were thought to be extinct for 65 million years, thriving calmly in the deep as if the extinction of the dinosaurs never happened. We must consider the deep sea as a giant time capsule, a vault where evolution remains protected when surface conditions become too extreme. We've already found the coelacanth, a prehistoric fish thought to be gone forever. But what else is down there? If we knew everything, we might realize that some of Earth's oldest and most formidable inhabitants never actually went extinct. They simply moved downstairs, waiting out the millennia in the safety of the dark. Number 3. The Mineral War. But it's not all wonder. At number 3, we face a cold, hard, and perhaps dangerous reality. The ocean floor is covered in nodules, potato-sized rocks rich in gold, platinum, and rare earth minerals essential for our smartphones, electric cars, and satellites. A total oceanic reveal would likely trigger the final and most intense gold rush in human history. Private corporations and powerful nations would race to claim the abyss. Would we destroy the very world we just discovered? This stage shows us that knowledge comes with a heavy burden of responsibility. Number 2. The Acoustic Intelligence. At number 2, we move from sight to sound. Imagine realizing that the complex, haunting songs of whales and dolphins carry far more data and information than we ever suspected. The deep sea acts as a massive acoustic cable, allowing sound to travel for thousands of miles without losing clarity. What if these sounds are a sophisticated way of sharing a global history across entire ocean basins? Perhaps a whale in the Atlantic can talk to a pod in the Indian Ocean. By knowing everything, we wouldn't just be seeing, we'd finally be listening to a global communication network that has existed for millions of years before humans even learned to walk upright. Number 1. The Source Code. Finally, we reach the moment that changes our entire perspective on our place in the universe. Number 1. While science suggests that the very first sparks of life may have begun at deep sea vents, what if we found that these environments are still actively driving the evolution of the planet today? Imagine finding that the deep ocean is the primary engine for life on Earth, a massive biological computer constantly producing new data and new forms of existence. If we knew everything, we would finally realize that we aren't just surface dwellers living on a rock. We are part of a world that is fundamentally defined by its oceans. We are the outliers, living in the thin layer of air above a massive liquid machine. Once you see the true scale of what has been thriving in the deep for billions of years, you'll realize that the abyss isn't an empty hole. It's the heart of the planet, and we are only just beginning to understand its pulse. If you could press a button today and know the absolute truth about the abyss, would you do it? Or is it better for our species to let the ocean keep some of its mysteries? Drop the word abyss in the comments if you've always been fascinated by the deep, just like me. Hit that subscribe button for more journeys into the what ifs. And remember, the water is always deeper than you think. See you in the next one.